first, fast, accurate with Jennifer Copeland and Todd Connor. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
A WSBT 22 weather alert now at 5. A winter storm warning in effect for many of you right now. This is the scene for most of you today. Plow trucks working around the clock to keep you safe.
Here's a live look from Berrien County and South Bend. You can see the conditions. If you do not have to go out tonight, stay in and avoid the roads.
We have live team coverage from every corner of our area. WSBT 22 has 3 meteorologists working to track this storm for you and the next system this weekend. Our team of reporters keeping an eye on the roads and have up-to-the-minute updates on the changing conditions. We will be checking in with the reporters throughout the entire newscast.
We will, but first we need to get right to WSBT 22 meteorologist Abby Wepler for an update on what's happening right now with that storm.
Right now, we're not done with it, and I'm sure you've probably noticed if you looked outside that we are not. Now, our southern counties currently getting a break, but we still have that deep shade of blue pretty much impacting the midsection of our area. Those deeper shades of blue mean that's a heavier, steadier snow. But we'll check in south first. So, for example, Fulton and even Pulaski County, a little bit of a break for you. In Warsaw, we see a lot of bright white for the most part. It's not snowing as bad for you right now, but then we go a little bit farther north. So around Plymouth, Lakeville, Elkhart, Goshen, through Sturgis, LaGrange, and even LaPorte County, those deep shades of blue. That is a pretty impressive snowfall rate. For some of you, it's up to an inch an hour. And that's why we're saying if you don't have to go anywhere tonight, maybe stay tight, because this is still stretching through Illinois into portions of Iowa. And so we still have a couple more hours where we're under a winter storm warning and still dealing with that light snow, at least throughout the early evening hours. The hour-by-hour forecast, though, is something to pay attention to. Very interesting, especially if you work third shifts on the weekend. This is important. Look what happens. By about 9 o'clock, we see it tapering off. Early overnight hours, we get a break. That's going to help those road crews catch up before we see more snow early tomorrow. So what have we seen so far? Well, right now, at latest glance, Shipshewana, 13.5 inches of snow. Buchanan, just over a foot. Niles at a foot. LaGrange, just under a foot. Mishawaka at 10 inches. Argus, though, look at that cutoff. You get to Argus, only 3 inches of snow. But South Bend set a record today, 8.8 inches of snow. And that's where we're going to throw things over to meteorologist Ed Russo, who's been in South Bend today. I mean, yeah, Ed, a record snow, and we continue to see it falling. What's going on out there right now?
Yeah, I'm actually located just north of the bypass, and that's one place the plows have been really working today. It's been a busy day for road crews trying to keep up with this heavy, widespread snow. Road crews have been working since last night around the clock, trying to clear the streets and main thoroughfares. Some of the plowing needs to be done in a very coordinated effort, though, by NDOT. Parts of the bypass today had to be cleared by a process called plow walling, and here's why.
In this situation, the biggest reason we did it here on the bypass is simply because we had so much snow packed up on those center walls from several days of big snows that there's really no place to put the snow anymore. So when we have crews coming by to do a regular plowing, there's no place to put that snow. So we came through just now and pushed all that snow off the center wall and now pushed it all the way to the far shoulder. And now that gives us plenty more storage room for when that snow continues to fall.
And so one of the biggest ways you can help road crews is by simply staying off the roads. We can't say that enough, because that allows them to clear the roads. That keeps you out of the way, and that keeps you, of course, out of the way of them. And keep in mind, if you're out shoveling this stuff, it is the real heavy, wet snow. We're talking temperatures in the low 30s, so the snow easily packs. The heaviest and wettest part of this event, as far as the consistency of the snow is concerned, is happening right now. Live in South Bend, I'm WSBT 22 First Alert meteorologist Jennifer and Todd. Back to you.
All right, Ed, thank you. You know, South Bend isn't the only area just being pelted with snow.
Yeah, certainly not. WSBT 22's Caitlin Conton is live now in Niles. And Caitlin, Southwest Michigan has received quite a bit of snow as well.
Yes, and it's heavy. I want to show you how packable it is. Just like Ed said, it's heavy, it's wet, it's really good snowman making material, but that is making driving a little challenging. We've seen a lot of people slipping and sliding out there, and this heavy snow is also hard to clear. Plenty of people are working up a sweat with shovels today. Even a snowblower doesn't make a big difference. The people I spoke to said the blower is heavy and you still have to make a couple of passes to get all that snow. William McGill is using a tractor, and he says clearing the snow is still hard.
And I don't know why I'm sitting talking to you, because I've been gone 5 weeks. I just got back Sunday from a nice warm travel through Grand Canyon, Las Vegas.
Fortunately, McGill doesn't have to work today, but some people are working hard to take advantage of all of this snow. Coming up at 6, hear how they're making a profit. Live in Niles, Caitlin Connon, WSBT 22 News.
All right, Caitlin, take a look at this. This is video of a massive 38-vehicle pileup on I-94. It happened in Galesburg, which is in Kalamazoo County. Several injuries reported, but police say all of those are minor. By the way, you can check to see if the plows are working where you live without even stepping outside with this map. MDOT's interactive website lets you see where the state and contracted plows are working. Once you open the website, click the blue icon on the left to see the snow plows on the statewide map. Click the purple icon for the snow plows. You can even see webcam shots.
I had to push my flight back first, and then the bus was late because of the snow, which was okay because we were running late as well. My car was actually stuck in the driveway. And then we got here and my flight's been delayed about an hour.
Oh, the frustrations. It's not just the roads, but this storm is canceling and delaying hundreds of flights. This is video from O'Hare in Chicago. Midway also dealing with a lot of frustrated travelers, and it's a similar situation at South Bend International Airport. Take a look. These are arrivals, and as you can see, a lot of flights are being impacted by the weather right now. Once this system moves out, we are not off the hook either. WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Matt Rudkin continues our First Alert team coverage right now. And Matt, you are tracking more weekend snow.
Yeah, we've got a little bit more coming this weekend. Luckily, compared to today, it won't be as bad. I want to show you. So this map is what we expect on top of what's already out there. For the rest of tonight, this will end tomorrow morning. So an additional 2 to 4 inches, basically State Road 2 area in northern Indiana to around the 12 corridor there in southwest Michigan. A little bit south of that and north, just an additional 1 to 2 inches. Again, the rest of tonight and into Saturday morning. We get a breather for the day on Saturday. Then we need to focus on the next system that will come in late Saturday night and into Sunday. With that, we're expecting a potential 2 to 5 additional inches. Again, that's on top of what's out there now and what's on top of what will fall later tonight. 1 to 2 north and south. I know those maps look similar, but the track of those systems pretty close as well. So we're talking an additional, for some of you, 3 to 6 inches of snow this weekend. Luckily, as Abby will reiterate for you coming up in her forecast, we get a breather, a big one next week with some quiet weather, but it comes with cold temperatures. She's going to talk about that. She's going to time the snowfall for you hour by hour and county by county to help you prepare for weekend. I know a lot of you are going to be out and about trying to dig out from the snow we saw today. So she'll keep you updated on that and how the rest of the weekend and next week shapes up. We'll have a forecast coming your way in about 5 minutes.
Sounds good, Matt. Thank you. You know, whether you're traveling, maybe staying home, or even if your power were to go out, remember, you can download our First Alert weather app to help you ride out this winter storm. It gives you the latest forecast, warnings, and closings right there in the palm of your hand. It's a free download in the App Store. Our First Alert team coverage is just getting started for you. We're going to be checking back in, as Matt said, with Abby in about 5 minutes.
The second government shutdown in 3 weeks has ended. President Trump has signed a bipartisan $400 billion budget agreement, ending a brief government shutdown that began just after midnight. The Senate approved the bill in the early morning hours, pushed past the deadline because of a long protest over the cost of the deal by Senator Rand Paul. The legislation sharply increases spending and the federal deficit.
It's pure, empty partisan politics where people are saying, oh, it's okay for Republicans to have debts, but it was bad for Democrats to have debts.
This agreement accomplishes getting the resources that we need to rebuild our military.
The bill is tied to a temporary 6-week agreement to allow time for the deal to be enacted. It includes increased spending for the military, domestic programs, and disaster relief. Most Democrats in the House voted against the spending bill, trying to use it as leverage to get a vote on immigration. That issue will likely be the next major showdown in Congress. After a tough week on Wall Street, here's how things ended for the week. At the bell, the Dow was up 330 points. The Nasdaq closed up 97 points. Nervous investors keeping a watchful eye, though, on their money and Wall Street today. On Monday, the index plummeted almost 1,200 points, the worst point drop in history. The Nasdaq and S&P also suffered major losses. And on Thursday, the Dow suffered its second worst point drop.
Winter Olympics are officially underway. This is video from the morning's opening ceremonies. South Korea seated its presidential couple alongside Vice President Mike Pence and his wife. Also in the same box, North Korea's nominal head of state and Kim Jong-un's younger sister.
All right, still ahead, is the flu season showing any signs of slowing down? Is the Hoosier State getting any relief? Just before 6, the CDC's weekly update on the deadly flu season.
But back here at 5, LL Bean is putting its foot down. How abuse is leading it to change its famous return policy.
All right, a live look in Plymouth. What a great way to spend a snow day, right? Sledding down a hill. You don't typically see heavy accumulating snow in Plymouth like we did today. More on the way. A look ahead at that weekend forecast next.
Now, your accurate First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist Abby Wepler.
We have had some fantastic pictures coming into the newsroom today.
Yeah, you got to remember on days like this, you don't always get that heavy, wet snow. Yes, there's the side with the shoveling and the driving, but then there's the hot tub, right? And it's Friday, and for some of you, it's a 3-day weekend, and yeah, no better way to spend it than get out in the hot tub or just let your dog run around.
Why not? That looks comfortable.
It is a huge hot tub.
Yeah, right? I know.
Room for all of us. Let's go.
No, Todd. We're going to talk about. Let's talk
it's
about
Friday,
the snow.
but
Come on, Abby.
All right, see, even we're having fun here. I mean, we're barreling through this storm, right? So we're almost done with this round, but we have more on the way this weekend. First Alert weather camera in Elkhart. Notice a steady snow is falling. Plows, though, have been doing a phenomenal job. Look at that. You're seeing the road being paved. However, it just keeps getting covered with snow. Traffic, not a lot of it, which is also good news for those tow truck and plow operators, of course, to get things done that they need to get done. Here we go on Storm Tracker radar. So some deep shades of blue, that's the heavy, steady snow, where at some points it can be up to an inch an hour. Then we make our way a little bit farther south. As I was saying, some of our southern cities, although you saw snow today, you didn't see the impressive foot or more like we had in some of our northern cities so far. So Fulton County, southern Kosciuszko County, even Pulaski County seeing a little bit of a break, but it's really around Lakeville, Goshen, Sturgis, even in LaGrange, Plymouth, that this heavy snow, it's just better to stay tight. I mean, to not get into a bad situation out on the roads tonight when all crews are trying to do is clear them. So if you can stay tight tonight, that would be the best advice I have for you, of course, because look what happens. We continue to look west. We still have snow. It's even that tail end lagging into Iowa. So several more hours of this, but it will taper off as the evening goes on. Winter storm warning, all of southwest Michigan, extreme northern Indiana until 7 o'clock this evening. It doesn't stop snowing at 7, but it stops snowing to the degree that keeps us under a warning. Temperatures are what made that snow, that heavy packing snow, not great to shovel, but great to see, of course, kids playing outside, making snowmen, and of course, having those snowball fights. When you have warmer air, it holds more water, and that's that heavy, wet packing snow. Right now in extreme northern Indiana, we have some low 30s in Millersburg and Napanee, 29 Goshen, 24 South Bend, and 25 in LaPorte. Typically with lake effect, it's that cold air where we have temperatures in the teens and single digits, and it's that light, fluffy snow. That's not the case with this winter storm. Winds have helped us out a lot today. It hasn't pushed the snow back into the roads when the plows have moved through. It's been a relatively light wind, and I expect that to continue tonight as well. So your hour-by-hour forecast, notice the next couple of hours we still expect the snow. We do see a brief lull late tonight through the early overnight hours before it picks back up for a couple of hours early tomorrow morning. The bulk of Saturday, I think you'll be happy to know, is quiet when we're talking about snow. So Futurecast, 7 o'clock, watch what happens. We still have some light snow moving through, but this is late and early overnight hours. notice a little bit of a lull. Now, Futurecast doesn't pick back up on it, but we are seeing some trends between about 4 and 8 a.m. that a light band of snow moves through, and then watch it Saturday. For the most part, Saturday is a day that you can at least continue to snow blow or let the kids play outside, maybe get around and run some errands if you need to, because Saturday, the bulk of the day is quiet. Of the 2 days trying to get things done, tomorrow is the day. Sunday, guess what? We add more snow to this. It's pretty much going to snow all day on Sunday. So what are we expecting tonight through Saturday? Remember, we get a couple-hour break, but we still expect tomorrow morning for a few hours. We're going to see some snow. 2 to 4 inches right about here, the middle section, and then you can see 1 to 2 for our most northern and southern counties. Okay, so the bulk of Saturday, once again, is quiet. Saturday evening is quiet. We get to Sunday. Sunday, we add more snow. What are we expecting on Sunday? This is late Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, about 2 to 5 additional inches, 1 to 2 additional inches. So although it's not as big for some of us that we saw, of course, today, I still expect some of us could see 3 to 6 inches, 3 to 7 inches of fresh snow before the weekend is over. Snow continues tonight, 2 to 4 inches on average, lows in the 20s. Tomorrow, we start with that chance of snow, but the bulk of the day is quiet and a high of 27. Tomorrow evening is also quiet. It's really late Saturday through Sunday that snow continues. It is cold Monday morning because we're clearing out with fresh snow. Those temperatures drop with a couple of hours of clear skies at night. Monday's cold, Tuesday's cold, Wednesday gets a little bit warmer, but I think what you're really going to notice, it is quiet early next week, which I think after this weekend a lot of people will be ready for.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, Abby, thank you. It was a fun day in the snow for many of your kids. As you've seen, WSBT 22's Veronica Ortega is back after the break with a look at how some of you made the most of the day.
First to cover breaking news with Jennifer Copeland and Todd Connor. Your accurate first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Abby Wepler. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
All right, here is a live look at Silver Beach in St. Joseph. Not a day to be at the lake. You can't even see any sand with all of that snow. A little chilly there for sure.
Yes.
But the weather is bringing a lot of fun winter activities for families.
It sure is. It's really the perfect weather for building snowmen, going tubing, getting outside and enjoying it. WSBT 22's Veronica Ortega joins us. Veronica, you found some people really taking advantage of the snow day.
Jennifer, school's out and luckily the temperature was just right for some winter fun. I visited George Wilson Park where I found families tubing. The journey up the steep hill was a bit of a challenge, but worth it for Stephanie Orta and her family. This was their first time ever tubing, and she says the kids absolutely loved it. Ashley Powers and her family are experts at tubing. Not only did they go as children, but now her son Hendrik gets to enjoy the fun. His favorite part? Going down the hill face first and getting sprayed in the face with snow. Both families say they made the right choice, and today was the perfect opportunity to spend time together as a family.
Oh, we decided we wanted to come out in tubing and enjoy some of the warm weather since it's not sub-zero for once when we have snow.
It's fun both ways. I mean, I knew the kids would enjoy it because I enjoyed it as a kid, so, you know, I figured we'd try it as a family.
Both families had a lot of fun, and they told me after they were done, the plan was to go home, drink some hot chocolate, and watch movies together. Jennifer and Todd?
Sounds good, Veronica, thank you. You know, with all the weather, you may have forgotten Valentine's Day is just a few days away. We have some pretty unique ideas to warm your partner's heart in these cold temperatures.
You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
We are getting more snow today, tomorrow, and Sunday than we have normally gotten in the last 2 winters in any one period of time.
And earlier we showed you how the weather is impacting Chicago's airports. Here's a live look at the skyline right now. People there are also dealing with a lot of snow and dangerous roads.
Crews there also working to keep the sidewalks clear. This is a picture of a man shoveling along the Magnificent Mile. Not the best day for shopping, though. And speaking of shopping, Valentine's Day just around the corner. And if you're a last-minute shopper, this snow really not helping much.
No, lucky for you, though, we found some easy last-minute gift ideas. First up, Farm Girl Flowers offers a fresh take on the classic bouquet. You plug in your zip code And it'll let you choose from their seasonal lineup of fresh farm-grown flowers and other goodies. Arrangements start at $48.
But if you're more of a flowers and chocolates gift giver, Bouquet Bar lets you send both in one box. Choose from their selection or design your own. You can also add bath essentials and accessories. Boxes start at $49. LL Bean's generous return policy is changing. The company will now accept returns for any reason for only 1 year with proof of purchase. Before, it had a lifetime return guarantee. LL Bean says the change is due to a growing number of customers expecting refunds for heavily worn products used over many years. Customers were wanting refunds for products that have been purchased through third parties, such as yard sales.
All right, here's another live look outside. This is Mishawaka right now. Matt is back after the break with an update on what's happening right now, coming up in your forecast.
First, fast, accurate with Jennifer Copeland and Todd Connor. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5:30.
I don't want to do whatever we're supposed to get all at once, so I'd rather knock half of it down and then do the other half later. I got a lot of work ahead of me.
And even more work to come. We are starting with a live look at the conditions in Berrien and St. Joseph County. Dangerous, slick conditions can be seen throughout the area.
WSBT 22's Jesse Schultz will join us live from Marshall County with an update on the conditions there in just a moment. But first, Chief Meteorologist Matt Rudkin with your forecast.
Yeah, we'll look back at this storm. I know it's still snowing in some locations for another few hours. Plotted as many numbers as I could fit on this map. Let me step out of the way so you can get an idea. Basically, US 20 to about 94. That area saw the heaviest amounts of about 12 up to 14 inches of snow in several locations. The sweet spot seemed to be Shipshewana and Middlebury with well over a foot. I've had dozens and dozens of reports up that way. Buchanan, Niles up to Dowagiac over a foot, and also in St. Joseph County in southwest Michigan near Sturgis, Constantine, White Pigeon, easily 10 to 12 inches. The dividing line, it quickly cut off. South of 6, for example, Syracuse, North Webster, Leesburg, 6 to 8 inches of snow. When you got to Warsaw, 1 to 2 inches. Same deal, Plymouth, about 5 to 6 inches down by Culver. And Argus 2 to 3. So a very, very quick drop in totals. But the state line area is who saw the heaviest, and it's still snowing up that way. Here's our first alert storm tracker radar. The darker blues indicate some moderate, steady snow. So let's start off in our northeast counties, St. Joseph and Branch counties in South Michigan, over towards Sturgis. Again, you already seen a foot of snow. You're seeing it. 131, Three Rivers, Constantine, White Pigeon. Down towards LaGrange, over towards Topeka, some heavy snow for you. Shipshewana. Middlebury still snowing heavy around Goshen and Elkhart, Wakarusa. You're seeing that as well down towards Millersburg, right around Syracuse. So US 6, again, heavy snow north of it, south of it, not too much. Marshall County, Plymouth, you saw a nice little burst of snow go through. It's probably still snowing there just a little bit. Light to moderate snow. Warsaw, Winona Lake, you'll get a quick burst come through here in the next half hour. South Bend officially, last report was just shy of 9 inches. The old record was much less than that, so we broke that for today's date. Mishawaka here at the TV station, just shy of 11 inches of snow. Three Oaks, Galeen, you're seeing some of that as well. Friends in Valpo and Chesterton, you picked up about a foot of snow. The Kankakee, notice this nice heavy band. It should push due east and maybe south a little bit, so it's Knox and Winnemac. You'll get some snow as well. When it's all said and done, I'm talking 2 to 4 additional inches on top of what we already have. 1 to 2 south of there, 1 to 2 north of there. This will finally wind down later this evening after about dinner time. It's still going to be kind of messy out there, but nonetheless, we'll get a break here before a little burst of snow just before your Saturday morning coffee. Coming up, we will talk about the weekend snow chances. And if you're sick of this, I got good news for next week. That 7-day forecast coming your way in just a bit.
All right, well, the system isn't over just yet for those northern counties, as Matt just mentioned, but boy, what a difference a few miles south makes.
Right, WSBT 22's Jesse Schultz is live in Plymouth right now. Jesse, how are things looking out there?
Well, Jen, the snow just started picking up again. It's becoming a little bit heavier, but throughout the day, it's been on and off and relatively light. Crews have been doing a pretty good job at maintaining those main roads and keeping them pretty clear. Earlier throughout the day, I spoke to people who were out just dealing with the snow. Many were shoveling their driveways or blowing their driveways clear. Surprisingly, many were downtown in Plymouth embracing it. People we spoke to here say the snow is just something they've learned to deal with.
Oh, I'm used to this, yeah. If you want to get out of this, you got to go to Florida or Arizona. Yeah, we're used to it, but it's still a little iffy, and we got to be careful and, you know, just cautiously driving like most people are, and just take it slow and you'll be fine.
And I am here at Centennial Park in Plymouth, where kids have been coming and going and just enjoying this hill that you see behind me. Because there wasn't as much snow here as some of our northern counties, they really had a chance to come out on those roads that are relatively clear and enjoy the day like they're doing right behind me now. I'm live in Plymouth. Jesse Schultz, WSBT 22 News.
Jesse, thank you. And make sure you keep that snow shovel close. This is video of people working to clear their sidewalks in Elkhart. You're going to want to stay ahead of the weather and shovel tonight and again tomorrow. Experts recommend using one of those curved snow shovels to help distribute the weight for you because it helps avoid injuries.
Well, the snow bringing a real treat for ski lovers, and that is fresh powder. This is video from people enjoying the slopes at Swiss Valley in Jones, Michigan. We spoke with people from the ski resort, and they say Cass County crews have been doing a great job at clearing the roads, but you'll still want to give yourself some extra time if you're headed there. Swiss Valley closes at 10 tonight, and of course, it will remain open through the weekend and next week. And WSBT 22's DJ Manu is at Swiss Valley right now. You'll have more tonight at 10 and 11.
And the weather has its perks, but of course the snow can also change your plans. If you want to know if a big event or sport has been canceled, just head to our website, WSBT.com. We are continuously working to keep that list updated for you. Many of you also got a snow day because of the weather today, and that includes Argus Elementary, today's winner of our I Love to Read challenge. Don't worry, we will work to reschedule a time to visit your school. And voting is now underway for Monday's winning school. Here are your options: Eagle Lake, Horizon, and North Point Elementary. You have the entire weekend to vote on this. Bob and Leanne will announce the winning school Monday morning just before 7 o'clock.
All right, here's a live look from St. Joe. You can see the snow-covered roads there. Looks like not much snow coming down at the moment. Matt is tracking more snow, though, for your weekend. He has your full forecast next.
Now, your accurate First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Matt Rudkin.
All right, before we talk about the weather, I want to jump around here, give you a couple live shots as to what's going on. This is in Marshall County, where, at least in Plymouth, you've seen 4 to 5, upwards of 6 inches of snow. It's a textbook classic snow day here. The kids are having fun. Mom and Dad, it's not 10 below 0, so you can go out in the upper 20s, low 30s. The dogs are loving it. Everybody's enjoying it. This is the first time we've had a nice packing snow this season. You can see all smiles out that way. St. Joseph County, we've got our crews out and about, keeping an eye on road conditions. You can see the roads are in okay shape. If you got to get somewhere, you're going to make it. Just allow for extra time. The crews have been out doing the best they can with some pretty decent snow rates at upwards of 1 inch an hour. And it's certainly been a challenge, but again, it's winter around here in Indiana and Michigan. You can see people are out and about. It's Friday evening. Everyone's ready for the weekend. First Alert Storm Tracker radar showcases we're still dealing with some snow on our radar product. The darker blues indicate heavier snow. Kankakee over towards Valparaiso, LaPorte, South Bend. Again, we'll make a quick tour here. Our far eastern counties, Branch and St. Joe County in South Michigan. Some heavy snow for you in parts of northern Indiana. Some heavy snow, LaGrange, Elkhart County. We're still seeing that again. The motion's almost due east. So we've got a couple more hours of this. We'll probably tack on a few extra inches of snow. A little burst coming towards Warsaw and Winona Lake. Pretty weak snow, though. This isn't going to accumulate too much. But again, you saw our live shot from Plymouth. That was a nice little snow coming down. Everybody enjoying it there on that hill. South Bend, Mishawaka, again, some light to moderate steady snow. It continues in parts of northeast Illinois. A wider view to get you the overall perspective here. It is our little neck of the woods that is dealing with this. Right along the state line of Michigan and Indiana. That's it. I've got a friend who lives down in Muncie, down this way. Said it was 52 and sunny. So huge difference in weather depending on where you live. But our little area of Indiana and Michigan certainly dealing with the snow. I'll show it to you. Here's a live look at our camera in the Winona Lake, Warsaw area. The streets are fine. You got about 1 inch, maybe at most 2 inches of snow down that way. But a 15-minute drive into Leesburg or North Webster or Syracuse, 5-6 inches of snow. Here we are in Dowagiac, where they've been out and about plowing the roads. But it's amazing to see. It's not amazing. It's what you would assume around here in Indiana and Michigan. You get these big snows. It doesn't stop people. People have been outside getting the snow off the cars, doing whatever they want to do, you know, to get out of the house and enjoy it. We've been watching the cameras all day long. One more in St. Joe. Again, you can see some snow-covered roads. Up this way, about a half foot of snow, really depending on where you live. A little bit less in Watervliet, quite a bit more down towards Stevensville, Bridgman, and Eau Claire. National Weather Service has winter storm warnings in effect for basically US 6 north until 7 o'clock. I don't expect them to continue that, but that said, it's still snowing out there, and we'll keep an eye and let you know. Nonetheless, the theme here is the overall threat for additional snow is going to start going down overnight. Temperatures in the upper 20s. That's why the snow is so wet. Warm air physically holds a lot more water than cold air, so you can pack that snow up. When we see that fluffy snow, it's usually the lake effect, right? Because it's so cold coming over the water. That's why the snow is a little different than we're used to. North wind now will continue to cool temperatures through the overnight. We'll be in the 20s here as we head towards the late evening hours, and eventually for your Saturday morning, upper teens and low 20s. We're done with snow after about 9, 10 o'clock. We get a break, and then another little burst will come in as we head towards tomorrow morning. Here's Futurecast. So I'll show it to you 8 o'clock this evening. Let me get on the other side here since our weather comes from the west. We're quiet through the overnight. Watch this little burst of snow come through Saturday morning. Not a big deal, enough to give us another maybe ½ inch to an inch. Most of Saturday is quiet, and then another round of snow Saturday night and Sunday. Here it is, early Sunday morning, overspreads the region. That will put down a couple inches of snow. So this map right here is right now ending Saturday morning. 2 to maybe 4 inches of snow on top of what we already have. 1 to 2 south, 1 to 2 north. That Saturday night and Sunday event, the map looks almost identical, right? I promise I redrew it here. 2 to 5 and 1 to 2. That sweet spot still looks to be the State Road 2 corridor there in northwest Indiana. 24 tonight, 2 to 4 inches additional snow for your day tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the upper 20s. We'll get a break from the snow, but then it redevelops late Saturday night and into Sunday. Again, 2 to 4, maybe 5 in some locations, additional inches of snow on Sunday. We all get to be done with this for a little bit early next week. It still looks like it's going to be below 0 Monday morning. All this fresh snow, as soon as those clouds break Sunday night, temperatures will crash 20-some degrees really fast. So it's going to be cold Monday morning, but whatever. We get some sun by the day, right? That's all I'm looking forward to now is that blue sky and sun. Bring it on.
All right, Matt, thank you.
Well, Michigan State announcing more fallout in the Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal, the latest shakeup within the university.
And our weather coverage continues tonight. Here is a look at another place dealing with the snow. This is actually from Barcelona, Spain. People there got to enjoy the snowy beach before it melted. WSBT 22 News at 5:30. We'll be right back.
First to cover breaking news with Jennifer Copeland and Todd Connor. Your accurate first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Matt Rudkin. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5:30.
A scary reminder about just how dangerous the roads can be right now. Take a look. You'll see that speeding driver lose control on slick roads and hit a car. Fortunately, no one was hurt. This video was taken from a police car in Wisconsin, but an important reminder to slow down on the roads here as well.
Yes, and a news alert now here at 5:30. One officer has died. 2 deputies were critically wounded in a shooting that has also left a suspect dead. This all unfolded south of Atlanta. Police say the officers were serving an arrest warrant at the time. 2 of the officers were flown by helicopter. We're told police have blocked off multiple entrances of a subdivision not far from an outlet mall. A nearby elementary school was also put on lockdown. There is new fallout tonight in the Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal. Michigan State University says it plans to fire a former medical dean and suspend the radiology chairman. The dean stepped down from his role last month citing illness, but now the university says it has taken the first steps to revoke his tenure and will not cover his legal expenses. He's been sued by girls and women who were sexually assaulted by Nassar. Now, for more than 2 decades, Nassar, a former Michigan State doctor, sexually assaulted young girls, mostly athletes, while treating them.
Earlier in the newscast, we told you immigration was left behind in the budget deal in Washington. As the U.S. grapples with its immigration policies, we traveled to Sweden to see how they are coping with a sharp rise in migration to their country. WSBT 22's Jonathan Elias goes inside your world.
You look at what's happening in Germany. You look at what's happening last night in Sweden. Sweden.
President Trump singled out Sweden as a place with problems. So we traveled to the country to find out what he was talking about. The problems President Trump was talking about start here in Syria and Iraq and the war against ISIS. The terrorist group was the primary target. But millions were caught in the middle, forced to flee. In Syria alone, more than 5 million people seeking safety outside their country. Many refugees spreading out across Europe. 3,000 miles away, more than 250,000 sought refuge in the Nordic region of the world. Most applied to live in Sweden, a peaceful country of 10 million.
Sweden is a beautiful country.
Sweden for me is a free country and you can be who you are.
Very clean, very nice people.
There is no question Sweden is all those things and more, but some here describe it differently these days. They would say this country is changing. In just the past few years, there has been an uptick in violence, murders, assaults, and something new, gang rapes. Just last year, 5 people were killed in a terror attack at an outdoor shopping mall in Stockholm. But officially from the Swedish government, immigration isn't the problem. Is this an area that has problems?
Yes, a lot of problems.
41 years, Glenn Sjogren has been a police officer in Malmo. And in that time, he has seen things change dramatically. Is it the immigrant population that is making up the majority of the trouble?
Yes.
Many immigrants and refugees come here because it's a generous welfare state. Housing, healthcare, schooling, even money given to those coming in. But some argue they're migrating here, but not assimilating. Is the democracy that Sweden has so enjoyed threatened by all of this?
Yes. I don't think our laws is really up to date.
Are the laws being respected by the immigrants? Do they understand what the laws are and they do respect them?
They don't respect them. They know what they are. They don't respect them.
Most of them just want to be living in peace with their families. That's why they came. I just know that some of them are still harboring extremist views.
Nicholas Oranius is a journalist here in Sweden. He's written 5 books, one of which focuses on Islamic extremism.
Sweden has had 300 young men and women go to Iraq and Syria to join terrorist organizations, basically. And this is a very, very high number.
Oranius says radical Islamists are a real problem. And for some reason, Sweden, he says, is a place they hide in plain sight.
We have 2 young Swedes who are in custody in France and in Belgium for being suspected of being part of some of the worst terrorist attacks that we've had in Europe.
He says the big reason that Sweden has become a safe place for terrorists is because the issue was largely being ignored.
For many years, my colleagues, journalists, didn't do their job, and also politicians. They didn't really see that this was a really big problem in Sweden.
Some Swedes we spoke with who didn't want to be on camera believe that there is no problem here in this country. It's just a story getting blown out of proportion by the media and President Trump. However, just before we landed in the country, a Swedish man was killed by a grenade. Hours after we landed outside of Stockholm, a teen was shot to death in a crowded pizza place. And police in Malmo were actively investigating 4 separate gang rapes. A few days after we left the country, another grenade attack, this time targeting a police station.
Well, could the flu season get worse before it gets better? The CDC is giving us its weekly update on the flu season next.
But first, here are some more of the great snow pictures you've shared with us. Keep them coming. Upload your favorite shots to our website, WSBT.com, and you might see them here on air.
You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5:30.
We want to show you a look at the conditions throughout the area. This is a live look from one of our sky cams in South Bend. Don't head out tonight if you really don't have to. That's what the experts are saying. WSBT 22's First Alert team coverage continues at 6 for you. The Indiana State Department of Health says flu activity is continuing to rise. According to the latest flu report, 167 Hoosiers have now died this season.
That is up from last week's report of 136 people. Earlier this week, we told you a 5-year-old in Kosciuszko County died from the flu. Omar Jimenez reports the worst may be yet to come.
We were hoping to have better news to share today, but unfortunately, it looks like this flu season continues to be particularly challenging.
The Centers for Disease Control voicing increased concern today over what's turned into an unpredictable flu season, cautioning it may not have reached its peak yet.
We could potentially see several more weeks of increased flu activity.
This week in particular, an additional 10 pediatric deaths, bringing the total number of children killed by the flu to 63. The CDC reports hospitalizations have also been increasing over the past 5 weeks, and at 60 per 100,000 people, it's the highest rate of hospitalization for this point of the season and recent flu outbreaks, impacting 48 states and Puerto Rico.
We see influenza activity in almost all of the states, which is really pretty unusual for us.
Experts say to watch for some critical symptoms that could indicate a severe infection, including a persistent high fever, difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, even a rapid heartbeat. The CDC also recommends beginning antivirals as soon as symptoms appear.
There is a lot of flu out there right now. If it looks like flu, it probably is.
And overall, taking the necessary steps to prevent spreading the illness, like getting the flu vaccine, washing your hands, and other common sense practices.
If you are ill, stay home. Don't go to school, don't go to work. You don't need to be spreading your virus around.
The CDC also says it's important to note that what may be mild symptoms to you could be deadly for someone else. I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
WSBT 22 News at 6 is next. And coming up, our First Alert team coverage continues with an update on the conditions where you live.
It's not snowing quite as bad here in Marshall County, but it's enough to make the roads slick and to have people change their plans. I'm Jesse Schultz, and I'll have an update on the conditions here coming up.
All right, and here is a live look in Niles, where you guessed it, still snowing. 10 to 12 inches accumulated already in Niles, and we're adding on to that. We'll talk about how much we've seen, how much we are going to see, and when the sun finally arrives or comes back. Your forecast coming up next at 6.